On this day in history, we remember the remarkable individuals who shaped our world. Welcome to Who Died Today in History, where we honor their legacies. From artists to leaders, their impact lives on. If you find their stories meaningful, like, subscribe, and hit the bell to stay connected. Joe Flaherty, the esteemed comedian and actor renowned for his work on the Canadian sketch series SCTV, passed away on April 1, 2024, at the age of 82, following a brief illness. Born in Pittsburgh, Flaherty's journey in comedy began with the Second City in Chicago, eventually leading him to Toronto to help establish the theater's outpost there. His contributions to SCTV included memorable characters like the pompous station manager Guy Caballero and the quirky horror host Count Floyd, roles that showcased his versatility and comedic genius. Flaherty's death came at a time when the entertainment industry was undergoing significant transformations, with digital media reshaping how audiences consumed content. His passing highlighted the end of an era where sketch comedy shows like SCTV played a pivotal role in shaping comedic narratives and influencing future generations of comedians. The immediate consequence of his departure was a collective mourning within the comedy community as peers and fans reflected on his profound impact on the art form. The news of Flaherty's illness had been shared publicly by fellow comedian Martin Short, who revealed that Flaherty was gravely ill, with his daughter Gudrun serving as his primary caregiver. This disclosure led to an outpouring of support, with the Second City community organizing fundraisers to assist with his medical expenses. Such communal efforts underscored the deep respect and affection held for Flaherty within the comedic fraternity. Flaherty's passing serves as a poignant reminder of the transient nature of life and the enduring legacy that artists can leave behind. His work continues to be celebrated through reruns of SCTV, his memorable appearances in films like Happy Gilmore, and his role as Harold Weir in the cult classic series Freaks and Geeks. These portrayals have cemented his place in the annals of comedic history, allowing new audiences to experience his unique brand of humor. The way society commemorates figures like Flaherty reflects our collective desire to honor those who have shaped cultural landscapes. Through retrospectives, tributes, and the continued sharing of their work, we keep their memories alive, ensuring that their contributions are not forgotten. Flaherty's legacy is immortalized not only in the laughter he elicited, but also in the inspiration he provided to aspiring comedians and actors who follow in his footsteps. In conclusion, Joe Flaherty's death marked the end of a significant chapter in comedic history. His life's work serves as a testament to the power of humor in bridging cultural divides and illuminating the human experience. As we remember and celebrate his contributions, we are reminded of the profound impact that one individual's creativity and passion can have on the world. John Forsythe, the distinguished American actor best known for his roles in Dynasty and as the unseen voice of Charlie and Charlie's Angels, passed away on April 1, 2010, at the age of 92. His death was attributed to complications from pneumonia following a battle with cancer. As a performer whose career spanned over 6 decades, Forsythe's passing marked the end of an era in television history, one that had defined the glamorous soap operas and charismatic leading men of the late 20th century. Forsythe's death reflected the challenges of aging in the entertainment industry, where longevity is often rare. Having remained a prominent figure in Hollywood well into his later years, he defied the industry's tendency to sideline aging actors. His ability to transition seamlessly from film to television showcased the adaptability required to maintain relevance in a rapidly changing media landscape. His role as Blake Carrington in Dynasty epitomized 1980s television excess, mirroring an era defined by wealth, power struggles, and family drama, a reflection of Reagan-era values that celebrated affluence and ambition. The immediate consequences of Forsythe's passing were met with widespread tributes from the entertainment industry, particularly from those who had worked alongside him. His colleagues and admirers recognized not only his contributions to television, but also his professionalism, humility, and philanthropic efforts. Unlike some actors whose deaths sparked controversy or renewed attention to past scandals, Forsythe's legacy was largely untarnished. His career choices and personal life had been marked by discretion and class, reinforcing his image as one of Hollywood's true gentlemen. His passing also reinforced the enduring appeal of Dynasty, which had enjoyed a resurgence in popularity, including a reboot years later. The character of Blake Carrington remained an iconic representation of the 1980s, and Forsythe's portrayal left a lasting imprint on television history. Even his voice work in Charlie's Angels continued to be referenced in popular culture, proving that his contributions extended beyond his physical performances. John Forsythe's death serves as a reminder of how certain figures in entertainment become timeless through their work. While mortality inevitably claims all, Forsythe's legacy endures through the countless reruns, tributes, and lasting influence of his performances. The way society honors such figures, through retrospectives, documentaries, and revivals, underscores humanity's desire to preserve and celebrate those who have shaped cultural history. Forsythe's career was one of longevity and elegance, and his memory continues to be cherished in the annals of television history. Sian Barbara Allen, born Barbara Susan Pawcrass on July 12, 1946 in Reading, Pennsylvania, was an American actress whose career flourished during the 1970s. She studied at the Pasadena Playhouse before making her television debut in 1971 on O'Hara U.S. Treasury. Allen gained recognition for her roles in various television series, including The Waltons, Gunsmoke, and Ironside. Her film credits include You'll Like My Mother, 1972, for which she received a Golden Globe nomination for New Star of the Year, and Billy Two Hats, 1974, a Western featuring Gregory Peck. Allen passed away on April 1, 2025 in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, at the age of 78 after a battle with Alzheimer's disease. Her death from natural causes highlights the pervasive impact of neurodegenerative diseases in contemporary society, underscoring the ongoing challenges in medical research and caregiving associated with an aging population. The immediate response to Allen's passing was one of reflection and remembrance within the entertainment community and among fans. While she had stepped away from acting in 1990, her performances, particularly in You'll Like My Mother and Scream Pretty Peggy, continued to be celebrated for their depth and authenticity. Her portrayal of vulnerable yet resilient characters resonated with audiences, contributing to the evolving representation of women in media during the 1970s. Allen's death serves as a poignant reminder of the transient nature of life and the enduring power of artistic legacy. Her work remains accessible through various media platforms, allowing new generations to experience her contributions to film and television. This enduring availability speaks to society's desire to preserve and honor the cultural impact of artists, reflecting humanity's complex relationship with mortality, power, and memory. Commemoration of figures like Allen often takes the form of retrospectives, film screenings, and scholarly discussions that explore their influence on the arts. Through these avenues, Allen's legacy is not only preserved, but also reinterpreted, ensuring that her contributions continue to inspire and inform future artists and audiences alike. Carrie Snodgress, an American actress known for her striking performances in films such as Diary of a Mad Housewife, 1970, and Pale Rider, 1985, passed away on April 1, 2004, at the age of 57. Her death was the result of heart failure and liver failure, conditions that arose as she awaited a liver transplant. Her passing reflected the harsh realities of health challenges in the entertainment industry, where actors often face struggles behind the glamour of the screen. Snodgress's early career was marked by immense promise, particularly after her Academy Award-nominated role in Diary of a Mad Housewife. However, despite this success, she chose to step away from Hollywood to focus on her personal life, including her relationship with musician Neil Young. This decision exemplified the difficult balance between personal fulfillment and professional ambition, an issue that many artists, particularly women, have historically faced in the entertainment industry. Although she later returned to acting, she never regained the same level of widespread recognition, a reminder of how fickle Hollywood's attention can be. The immediate impact of her passing was largely felt within the acting community, where she was remembered as a deeply talented and dedicated performer. While she may not have been a household name by the time of her death, those who appreciated her work recognized her as an actress who brought depth and nuance to her roles. Her career and struggles also brought renewed attention to the difficulties of sustaining a career in Hollywood while navigating personal hardships, including health issues and financial instability. In the broader cultural memory, Snodgress's life and career serve as a poignant reflection on the ephemeral nature of fame and the sacrifices artists often make. Unlike some actors whose deaths lead to a dramatic reevaluation of their work, Snodgress's legacy remains somewhat understated, appreciated by cinephiles and those who recognize the quiet power of her performances. Yet, her presence in notable films ensures that she is not forgotten. Her death also underscores the larger human struggle with mortality and the unpredictable nature of health crises. While some figures are immortalized through constant media attention, others, like Snodgress, leave behind a quieter but no less significant legacy. Through retrospectives, film studies, and the continued appreciation of her work in Diary of a Mad Housewife and other roles, her contribution to cinema remains preserved. In the end, the way we remember figures like Snodgress highlights our collective desire to honor those who brought artistry and authenticity to the screen, even if their careers did not always follow a traditional arc of fame. Marvin Gaye, the legendary soul singer whose smooth voice and socially conscious lyrics helped define a generation, met a tragic and violent end on April 1, 1984. His death was not only shocking, but also deeply symbolic of the personal and societal struggles that had shaped his life and career. Gaye was shot and killed by his own father, Marvin Gaye Sr., during a heated altercation at their Los Angeles home. The fatal confrontation occurred just one day before his 45th birthday, underscoring the tension and turmoil that had plagued his later years. Gaye's death reflected a darker reality often hidden behind the glamour of fame. Despite his immense success with songs like What's Going On, Sexual Healing, and Let's Get It On, he struggled with drug addiction, financial troubles, and emotional instability. His relationship with his father had been fraught with tension for years, exacerbated by Marvin Gaye Sr.'s strict religious beliefs and the abuse Gaye had endured since childhood. The tragic culmination of these conflicts, domestic violence leading to filicide, was a stark reminder of the personal demons that even the most celebrated artists battle. The immediate consequences of Gaye's death sent shockwaves through the music industry and his devoted fan base. The loss of such a powerful voice in soul and R&B was deeply felt, especially since Gaye had only recently staged a career comeback with Midnight Love and its hit single Sexual Healing. His murder intensified the public's perception of him as a tormented genius, a man whose immense talent was accompanied by profound suffering. His father's conviction for voluntary manslaughter, rather than murder, also fueled discussions about domestic violence, mental health, and accountability within families. In the years following his passing, Marvin Gaye's legend only grew. His influence on R&B, soul, and pop music remains unparalleled, and his work continues to be celebrated in documentaries, tribute albums, and retrospectives. Songs like What's Going On still resonate today, reflecting ongoing social struggles and proving the timelessness of his artistry. He has been posthumously inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and his music is continuously sampled and covered by contemporary artists, ensuring that his voice lives on. Gaye's tragic death highlights the fragile intersection of genius and suffering, a theme that has echoed through the stories of many great artists. His passing reminds us of the human cost of fame, the impact of unresolved trauma, and the ways in which society remembers and reveres those who have left an indelible mark on culture. Through music, film, and historical retrospectives, Marvin Gaye remains immortal, a voice of love, pain, and change that will never be silenced. Adam Schlesinger, a prolific musician and songwriter, passed away on April 1, 2020, at the age of 52, due to complications from COVID-19. He had been hospitalized and placed on a ventilator for over a week before his death. Schlesinger's death occurred during the early months of the COVID-19 pandemic in the United States, a period marked by uncertainty and fear. His passing underscored the virus's indiscriminate nature, affecting individuals across various walks of life, including the arts. As a founding member of Fountains of Wayne, known for the hit Stacy's Mom, and a contributor to numerous other musical projects, Schlesinger's untimely death highlighted the profound impact of the pandemic on the creative community. The immediate aftermath of Schlesinger's death saw an outpouring of grief from fans, collaborators, and fellow musicians. Tributes highlighted his exceptional talent and the breadth of his contributions to music and television. In June 2020, the tribute album Saving for a Custom Van was released, featuring artists covering songs Schlesinger wrote or performed, with proceeds donated to the MusiCares COVID-19 Relief Fund. In 2025, Fountains of Wayne announced their first live performances since Schlesinger's death, with Max Collins of Eve 6 stepping in on bass. These performances serve as a testament to Schlesinger's enduring influence and the band's resilience in honoring his legacy. Schlesinger's passing during a global pandemic serves as a poignant reminder of humanity's vulnerability and the fragility of life. It also highlights the enduring power of art to connect, heal, and commemorate. Through tribute albums, reunions, and continued performances, Schlesinger's legacy is immortalized, reflecting society's deep-seated need to honor and remember those who have significantly impacted our cultural landscape. Simo Häyhä, renowned as the White Death, was a Finnish sniper whose extraordinary marksmanship during the Winter War of 1939 to 1940 earned him legendary status. Born on December 17, 1905 in Rautjärvi, Finland, Häyhä led a humble life as a farmer and hunter before being thrust into the global spotlight through his wartime feats. His death on April 1, 2002 at the age of 96 was due to natural causes, marking the peaceful end of a life that had witnessed the tumult of war and the serenity of the Finnish countryside. Häyhä's passing in the early 21st century served as a bridge between the past and present, reminding the world of the individual sacrifices made during pivotal moments in history. His longevity allowed for a living connection to the events of World War II, offering insights into the resilience and fortitude required during times of national crisis. The era of his death, marked by rapid technological advancement and shifting global dynamics, contrasted sharply with the simplicity and precision that defined his wartime service. The immediate consequences of Häyhä's death were felt deeply in Finland and among military historians worldwide. Tributes poured in, highlighting not only his unparalleled skills as a sniper, with over 500 confirmed kills, but also his humility and dedication to his homeland. His passing prompted renewed interest in the Winter War and Finland's struggle for sovereignty, emphasizing the enduring relevance of his contributions. Reflecting on Häyhä's life and death offers profound insights into humanity's complex relationship with mortality, power, and memory. His story exemplifies how individuals can shape history through personal commitment and how their legacies are preserved and honored over time. Häyhä's embodiment of quiet strength and unwavering resolve challenges contemporary notions of heroism, suggesting that true power often lies in restraint and purpose rather than in dominance. The immortalization of figures like Häyhä manifests through various mediums, biographies, documentaries, and commemorations that seek to capture and convey their essence to future generations. In Finland, his legacy is preserved in military history and cultural memory, serving as an enduring example of national resilience. Internationally, his story continues to inspire discussions on the ethics of warfare, the psychology of sniping, and the human capacity for endurance under extreme conditions. Gene Evans, born Eugene Barton Evans, on July 11, 1922 in Holbrook, Arizona, was a distinguished American actor renowned for his portrayals of rugged, authoritative figures in war films and westerns. His authentic performances were deeply influenced by his real-life experiences as a combat engineer during World War II, where he earned both the Purple Heart and the Bronze Star for bravery. Evans began his acting career in a GI theater troupe while stationed in Europe, which laid the foundation for his naturalistic approach to acting. He made his film debut in 1947 and gained significant recognition for his role as Sergeant Zack in Samuel Fuller's 1951 Korean War drama, The Steel Helmet. This collaboration with Fuller continued in films like Fixed Bayonets, 1951, and Shock Corridor, 1963, further solidifying his reputation in the industry. On April 1, 1998, Gene Evans passed away at the age of 75 in Jackson, Tennessee. His death was attributed to natural causes, marking the end of a prolific career that spanned over 4 decades. Evans's passing reflected the inevitable conclusion of a life dedicated to embodying the stoic and resilient characters that mirrored the values of his era, particularly those of courage, duty, and authenticity. The immediate consequences of his death were felt deeply within the film and television communities. While Evans may not have been a household name, his consistent and compelling performances left an indelible mark on the portrayal of military and Western figures in American cinema. His commitment to realism influenced how Hollywood depicted war heroes and lawmen during the mid-20th century, setting a standard for portrayals of rugged masculinity that balanced toughness with vulnerability. In the wake of his passing, Evans's legacy continued to grow, with film enthusiasts and historians revisiting his work to appreciate the depth and sincerity he brought to his roles. His performances have been immortalized through various forms of commemoration, including retrospectives, film screenings, and discussions that highlight his contributions to the industry. Reflecting on Gene Evans's life and death offers insight into humanity's relationship with mortality, power, and memory. His portrayals of steadfast characters resonate with audiences, embodying the enduring human spirit in the face of adversity. Through art and literature, figures like Evans are celebrated and remembered, their legacies serving as touchstones for the values and challenges of their times. In honoring such individuals, society acknowledges the profound impact they have had on cultural narratives and the collective memory. Cynthia Lennon, born Cynthia Lillian Powell, was best known as the first wife of John Lennon of the Beatles. Their marriage, which began in 1962 and ended in 1968, was marked by the pressures of fame, personal challenges, and the turbulence of the 1960s. Cynthia Lennon lived much of her life in the shadow of her former husband's extraordinary success, but she carved out her own path as an author and art lover. Cynthia passed away on April 1, 2015 at the age of 75 after a battle with cancer. Her death from natural causes was a quiet end to the life of a woman whose role in the public eye had often been eclipsed by the Beatles' fame and the drama of John Lennon's life. Yet, Cynthia's passing was a reminder of the personal cost of living in the shadow of a global icon. While John Lennon's murder in 1980 had left an indelible mark on the world, Cynthia's death marked the closing of a chapter in a much more intimate and personal history. Her death was met with reflection on the struggles she had endured, both as a young woman thrust into the limelight with John Lennon and as the mother of his son Julian, who became a renowned musician in his own right. Cynthia's legacy was tied to her role in John's early life, but her later years saw her embracing her own identity, publishing a memoir titled John in 2005, which offered an insightful and sometimes painful look at their relationship. The immediate consequences of her passing were largely felt within the Lennon family and the Beatles community, where her death marked the end of an era. Her role as a quiet observer to the Beatles' story often left her sidelined in favor of the more flamboyant figures in the band's history, such as Yoko Ono. However, in her passing, Cynthia's dignity and resilience as a mother and a woman of her time came to the forefront, with tributes from her son Julian and many others who had known her as a friend. Cynthia's life, though often overshadowed, has been immortalized through her writing, her appearances, and the quiet strength she displayed in the face of personal and public challenges. Through art, literature, and the recollections of those who knew her, Cynthia Lennon's contributions to the story of the Beatles and her own unique journey continue to be commemorated. Jack Pardee, a former American football player and coach, passed away on April 1, 2023, at the age of 76 after a battle with gallbladder cancer. Pardee's death from natural causes marked the end of a career that spanned over 5 decades in professional football, both as a player and coach. His passing also symbolized the quiet, often unheralded contributions of players who helped shape the history of the game, particularly in an era when the sport was transforming into the multi-billion-dollar entertainment industry it is today. Pardee's death came at a time when the legacy of football's earlier days, marked by grit, toughness, and the spirit of team over individual fame, was often overshadowed by the larger-than-life personalities of more recent stars. As a linebacker for the Los Angeles Rams, Washington Redskins, and Houston Oilers, Pardee was known for his toughness on the field and his leadership in the locker room. He later transitioned to coaching, guiding teams like the Houston Gamblers and the Houston Oilers, leaving a lasting impression on the game. His transition from player to coach highlighted the era's shift toward strategic thinking and leadership in the realm of professional football. The immediate consequences of his passing were felt by fans, former teammates, and coaches who had witnessed his impact both on and off the field. Pardee's death evoked reflections on a bygone era of football, one where players like him were seen as warriors on the field, diligent, tough, and not seeking fame but doing their jobs for the love of the sport. His death did not radically shift the trajectory of football history, but it did amplify his legacy among those who remembered the roots of the sport. In the wake of his passing, Pardee's influence on the sport lived on. His dedication to both the physical and mental aspects of the game, as well as his role as a mentor to younger generations of players and coaches, ensured that his memory remained intact. Tributes poured in, with fans and former players recalling his leadership and character. Pardee's story is immortalized through these personal memories, through the programs he helped build, and in the many players and coaches who were inspired by his example. Jack Pardee's death, like many before him, underscores humanity's relationship with legacy and memory. Through art, literature, and personal tributes, the figures who shape history are not easily forgotten, no matter how quietly they may depart. Pardee's life reminds us that the true impact of a person can be measured not by fame or spectacle, but by the strength of their character and the example they leave behind. Henri Cochet, a French tennis legend, passed away on January 1, 1987, at the age of 90. His death was a natural one, marking the end of an extraordinary life that spanned much of the 20th century. Cochet, one of the 4 musketeers of French tennis alongside Jean Barotra, Jacques Brugnon, and René Lacoste, was an iconic figure in the sport, known for his elegance on the court and his tenacious play. He had won numerous Grand Slam titles, including several French Open singles titles, and was part of the French team that dominated Davis Cup competition during the 1920s and 1930s. Häyhä's passing occurred during a time when tennis was evolving into a more global, commercialized sport. His era, defined by its amateurs and the amateur ethos, stood in stark contrast to the burgeoning professionalism that would later transform the game. As tennis continued to shift away from the gentleman's game of the past, Henri Häyhä's death reminded the sports community of the rich history and values that had shaped its foundations. In the immediate aftermath of his death, the tennis world mourned the loss of one of its greatest figures. While he had long since retired from active play, his legacy as part of the Four Musketeers ensured that his impact on the sport was never forgotten. His death sparked reflection on the golden age of tennis, particularly the camaraderie and sportsmanship that the Four Musketeers exemplified. In contrast to the more corporate, televised tennis culture that had begun to dominate, Häyhä's passing symbolized the fading of an era where the sport was played for honor, not for endorsements or financial gain. Henri Häyhä's death did amplify his legend, especially as the generations of tennis fans and players who followed came to understand the true significance of his contributions. His career, marked by both singles and doubles victories, is often recalled as the epitome of grace under pressure. The immediate consequences of his passing were felt within the tennis community, especially in France, where his name was synonymous with the country's tennis glory. The enduring legacy of Henri Häyhä is immortalized in the history of tennis, in the stories told by those who witnessed his skill and sportsmanship, and in the many players who followed in his footsteps. As we commemorate such figures, whether through art, literature, or tournaments named in their honor, we ensure that their memory persists. Henri Häyhä's death, like the passing of many legendary figures, reminds us of the passage of time, the value of legacy, and humanity's drive to memorialize those who shape history. Through these commemorations, we reflect not only on the lives they led, but also on the lasting impact they have on our collective memory. Eleanor of Aquitaine, one of the most powerful and influential women in medieval Europe, passed away on April 1, 1204, at the age of approximately 82. Her death, likely from natural causes, marked the end of a life that had spanned some of the most tumultuous and transformative centuries in European history. As the wife of two kings, Louis VII of France and Henry II of England, and the mother of two kings, Richard the Lionheart and John, Eleanor's death was the conclusion of a legacy defined by political intrigue, royal power, and personal resilience. Eleanor's passing occurred during a time of significant instability in the Angevin Empire, the vast territories once held together by her husband, Henry II, and now threatened by her son, John's reign. Her death came just years after the loss of Normandy to France, a devastating blow to English power on the continent. As the matriarch of a fractious royal family, Eleanor had played a crucial role in maintaining influence and order within her realm. She was a shrewd political operator, often acting as a mediator between her sons and their contentious relationships with their father. Her death left a vacuum, as her ability to balance and manipulate the ambitions of her sons, especially Richard and John, was no longer available to her family. The immediate consequences of Eleanor's death were felt both in the English court and across Europe. In England, her son John faced mounting challenges to his rule, eventually leading to the rebellion of the barons and the signing of the Magna Carta in 1215. Eleanor's legacy, however, transcended her death. She had been a symbol of royal power, strength, and influence, and her passing underscored the vulnerability of the English monarchy in a time of dynastic instability. Despite this, Eleanor's death did little to diminish her legend. Instead, it amplified her status as a figure who had shaped European politics and culture for decades. Eleanor of Aquitaine's death, much like her life, invites reflection on the complex relationship between mortality, power, and memory. She was an influential queen, known for her political savvy, her patronage of the arts, and her pivotal role in the cultural and political landscape of the 12th century. Her legacy is immortalized through the literature and historical accounts that have enshrined her as one of the greatest women in history. Through these commemorations, her image has endured, offering insight into the roles women played in medieval power structures and how their influence often extended far beyond their traditional domains. Eleanor's life and death remind us of the enduring power of memory and the ways in which history, shaped by the lives of figures like her, is remembered and retold.